So Trouble with the Curve is the product, I think, reading between the lines, of a really nice thing. Clint Eastwood, who stars as an aged, almost going blind baseball scout who's trying to make one last signing as he somehow simultaneously reconnects with his estranged daughter while she's having a romance with another scout played by Justin Timberlake. He hasn't acted in a movie, Clint Eastwood, in 20 years that he hasn't directed himself since 1993. Thank you, Wikipedia, for that. And the reason he's doing that now is because Trouble with the Curve is the directorial debut of a guy named Robert Lorenz, who's been Clint Eastwood's first assistant director for basically ever. And the relationship between director and first assistant director needs to be really tight. So this happens a lot with, powerful director guys. When they want to help their really good friends who've been working with them forever get a leg up and become a director, they throw their weight behind them. And in this case, it's Clint Eastwood agreeing to appear in a movie as an actor that he didn't direct, which is a really good thing. The problem is the movie's awful. Clint Eastwood's playing what is apparently now a version of himself, an incredibly cranky, borderline senile old man. There's not much of a difference between him in this movie and him at the Republican National Convention talking to an empty chair. He just seems like an old kind of crank, and he plays that again to the hilt. He's borderline unappealing for most of this movie. What's weird is he's that incredibly nasty person being played by an incredibly talented actor in the middle of a movie that's got like Air Bud level narrative sophistication. I mean, the script for this film and the way that it all works is laughable, Lifetime movie of the week quality, if not worse. Like, there's a plot point where nobody believes that Amy Adams' character, who's a 33-year-old high-powered, corporate lawyer. She's not a waitress or a homeless woman. Nobody believes that she can know anything about baseball, despite the fact that she went on the road for 7 years with her baseball scout dad. And one of the characters literally says, "How are we supposed to believe her? She's a girl." In 2012, it has all of the automatic turns of a sports movie. They're not couched or camouflaged by any kind of sophistication whatsoever. I mean, you see a baseball glove on a desk and you immediately know what that means. It's just full of bad, poorly executed ideas. And it treats baseball, it's like a baseball film made by somebody that doesn't like baseball. It's disrespectful to the sport, and it's disrespectful to the tradition of baseball in films as a powerful cultural thing that shouldn't be treated like a town bike, just taken out for a ride by anyone that wants to use its metaphorical power and treated shittily. Dad, I just wanted to be in the cheap seats. And he says, the cheap seats aren't good enough. And he says, but there's two strikes and one more ball and then we're out. And it's just disrespectful. So what should you watch instead? Watch a movie that treats baseball as the American cultural touchstone it actually is, that doesn't just abuse it for its metaphorical power. And watch 8 Men Out, which is directed by John Sayles in the 80s. It's got a really cool cast, including guys like Studs Terkel, that talks about, in a relatively sophisticated way, the actual importance of baseball in the American culture. It doesn't just use it as a cheap slut metaphor as a way to talk about horribly constructed movie of the week emotional scenes. 8 Men Out's a really good movie. If you're a baseball fan, you'll love it. You've probably already seen it. If you're not a baseball fan, you might get some insight into the tradition, the history of the game, and also what it means to the people of the United States. And now Canada, now the Blue Jays are playing ever since 1960, whatever they joined.